So we will begin and open the meeting of the town council on Monday, July 17th, 2023 at 7 p.m. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest, the general nature thereof? No. No delegations. So now we have our public meeting. Oh, okay, so be it resolved that council accepts the addendum to the July 17th, 2023 council meeting agenda, first by Councillor Austin, second by Councillor McDonald, all in favor? That's carried. And so this is to start the, okay. So first by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Austin, be it resolved that the council meeting be temporarily adjourned at 7:02 p.m. for the purpose of a public meeting. All in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that pursuant to bylaw number 2007-9, the public meeting is now officially open for the purpose of hearing comments regarding the updated procedural bylaw. First by Councillor Austin, second by Councillor McDonald, all in favor? That's carried.
So we did not receive any written comments from the public regarding procedural bylaw.
And obviously no one is here from the public to comment. So does that mean we proceed?
Yeah, we can if unless anyone has anything to say.
Any comments about the procedural bylaw, which we've already been through? Councillor
I
Austin.
wasn't gonna talk too much, but I'm still not in favor of the way it's done, but I will accept it. As far as the public speaking.
So if I understand from last month, you would prefer that people do not have to pick a subject that they want to speak about at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah.
But so basically they can listen to the meeting, and if they have something to say for 3 minutes that they intend, does anyone else have any comments about that or agree with that?
Well, I agree that they have a chance, should have a chance to speak.
Well, they do have a chance to speak. What we're debating is at this point, the procedural bylaw says that they need to say what they want to talk about at the beginning of the meeting.
Well, I see.
And I think when we talked about it, I said, we don't casually discuss something that's come up for us in the meeting, usually. Like, we ask clarification, but if we want a subject, we have to, in fact, a week in advance, say what we want on the meeting agenda. So that's why I don't really have a problem with that. Councillor Austin?
The whole thing with what I'm saying is, when we want something done, we want to deal with it. All we want here is the public to give your opinion. We're not going to deal with the subjects, we're just going to let them talk.
For 3 minutes.
Yes, they're up to 3 minutes. And they give their opinion on something, and then we can deal with it later.
Well, they could also come the following month, like if they hear something in a meeting, they could come the following month and say, I have an issue with what was discussed, or Councilor McDonald.
I feel same as Wayne, because we, in the past, that went, it worked pretty good. Like, it's your job to keep order. If you get somebody out of
You
order.
wipe that smirk off your face.
No, but that's why nobody comes here, because they have no say or nothing.
Well, we are allowing them to speak, and it isn't standard practice, and like what we're doing is not what most, would you say, CAO?
I'd say,
Fishbach?
I'd say about 50%.
Okay, okay, I thought it was less.
Yeah.
But we,
It used to be standard practice.
Right.
yeah. But we did remove the portion that you had asked to have removed. If you look in 2.7.1, it just says such persons are required to register with the clerk before the meeting begins. So
Yeah.
we did remove the part where they have
So
to,
they don't have to say.
they
a
don't have
subject.
to let us know, it's just up to the chair. That if we've already discussed it,
yeah,
it
the
would
way it-
be,
The way it reads there too, they both can't speak on the same subject.
I didn't know that it did, or was it that,
Yeah, I understand.
oh, you're talking about the D issues raised by more than one person that are identical or similar to
Yeah.
issues already raised shall be governed.
If you've got, for example, somebody here that talking about the issues at Sand Bay, well, two people can't speak on it.
well, I think what it's saying is that, let's say we've had the issue from Sand Bay come to council, we've had a ruling on it. That then we don't wanna hear exactly the same thing again. If it's something different, like, oh, and down my road, it was, you know, so anything different, I think. Puts it in a new, it might be a similar, but it's still somewhat new.
If you're gonna be lenient on it, I will agree with it. Like, if it's close to being the same thing. But that's,
Counselor Jay Petty, any comments?
Well, I think this move is going backwards 30 years, so I'm against it. Half of the municipalities have got rid of it, and the ombudsman has already ruled that it's not a prerequisite that the public speak unless they make arrangements prior. So I'm against it.
You're right, at this point, people can come in as a delegation, right?
Yeah,
That
they
is-
can, but I mean, I know what Wayne needs, you know, if they're sitting out in the audience here, we discuss something, they should have the right to voice their, a little bit of voice their opinion, like you said,
Right, 3 minutes is not long.
no, like, you know, and we had no problems with it over the years, it might be old fashioned, but I mean, this is a small community and we know most of the people here, right?
Right, I think that's true. It's nice for people to have a voice. I think one thing I didn't understand, all the many things that the municipal office deals with before I started getting more involved. So I think sometimes the public can be focused on their immediate needs, whereas I think there are bigger umbrella issues that you don't see readily. But I think we're basically saying that mostly, we're fine with the procedural bylaw. Especially we're not asking, I thought we were saying we wanted a subject from them, but we're just saying that at the beginning of the meeting, they need to decide if they wanna speak.
That's what my notes reflected from the last meeting, so if I have it wrong, then please let me know.
Well, I think Counselor Austin and Counselor McDonald would like it to be more flexible. I mean, the other thing we can do is if this gets to be unproductive or well, it's not, if it gets repetitive, we can deal with that as well, right?
Well, as the chair, you have
Yeah,
a lot of
If, you know, it's
say over that.
winter roads over and over and over, but it is also over 3 minutes.
But what the way is worded in the bylaw, the taxpayers, they know they're not gonna have a chance to speak on anything we discuss that night, so why come to the meeting, you know? We used to get a good crowd
Well-
here, and it went over, no, you always get the odd one with a little bit of problem, but we had no problem bringing them in order. And
So the procedural bylaw at this point says they just have to decide at the beginning of the meeting that they want to speak. They don't have to say what they want to speak about. So they just have to have decided that they would like to speak about something.
Yeah, but they don't know what's gonna happen during the meeting, that's what I'm getting at, I think that's what Wayne means. I'm not sure what Wayne means, but,
well, it's,
you know, like, if we're discussing something that affects affects the taxpayer out there, they should have a right to just speak up, like you say, 2 minutes. Most of the time, it's only a few seconds. You know? And we used to get good crowds here, we used to get 30 people here.
that's my whole point, we get nobody here.
That's when it
Because
stopped.
They have no say, no nothing.
That's when it stopped, people stopped coming because we stopped them having to ask questions, they can't ask no questions, so they quit coming. So now I get more phone calls at home, but if you had it open, think that I wouldn't get phone calls at home. You'd be able to.
Well, this is a step towards people being able to bring concerns or, Counselor CAO or CAO Pitchball, what do you recommend?
With all due respect for you, Madam Chair, I think the procedural bylaw as presented tonight is a good middle ground. It gives people the opportunity to come in, put their name on the sign-in sheet that they're gonna speak ahead of time. And so maybe they do hear something during the meeting that they wanna talk about. If their name's on the sheet before the meeting, then they can speak on it. And through you as the chair, you would have the opportunity, if something was being brought up over and over and over again, and you would have the chance to say, we've already discussed that, you know, unfortunately, we're not hearing that subject again. This is what council has decided. I think it's a good middle ground because you have control over things not getting too crazy in here. But it also gives people flexibility about what they want to speak about.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm also very interested in people's reactions. Cause sometimes when we hear things, all of us, we want to immediately react and say things. I think if people sometimes have to wait a month, just like I have a list of things that I want brought up every month, right? We all have to wait. Sometimes that can be good, to make sure that things are well thought through and maybe thought about from different angles. So I think I agree. I think it's a good middle ground. I think it's a good, it may have to change. It may get too unruly. It may not please anyone to come, right? But who knows? But it's a start. We are somewhat divided on how we feel about it, but do we have a motion about it?
Just to close the public portion of the meeting.
Okay, so be it resolved that the public meeting is now officially closed at 7:13 PM and the council meeting is now reconvened. First by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Austin, all in favor? That's carried.
Those two are the minutes. I had them separated just because of
So
a
we do-
counselor declaring a conflict on one of the last meetings, so that's why they're separated.
Okay, so be it resolved that the following council minutes be accepted as presented. 6A, regular council meeting minutes of June 19th, 2023. All in favor? That's carried. And be it resolved that the following council be accepted as presented of 6B, which is the closed session meeting minutes of June 19th, 2023. First by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Austin, all in favor?
Just noting the minutes and reports are received.
Be it resolved that the minutes and reports, the report items of 7A to F are noted as received. First by Councilor Austin, second by Councilor McDonald, all in favor?
It's not the recreation minutes.
Be it resolved that council accepts the Community Parks and Recreation Committee minutes dated June 22nd, 2023 is presented. First by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Austin, all in favor? That's carried.
This is for the first CAO's report.
Do we need to discuss this at all? We're just
Probably.
So this is about the new requirements to receive grant funding. Do you want to speak to this?
I can if you'd like me to. Through you, Madam Chair, this report, sorry.
It seemed very straightforward when
I
you
just don't have it in
explained
front
it
of me
to
all
me.
of a sudden. Sorry, I don't have the report in front of me, but basically in a nutshell, when we get grants, we have like a portal that we have to log into. It's a government portal. We have to have all our security passwords. Now they're requiring us to have, it's called the tax verification and compliance letter. And it's from the CRA, and we have to load that into the grant system. We had one last year, but it only is valid for a year. So when I went to go back in, because I'm not a level 3, it's the director. It was the former mayor. One of the former mayors was the level 3. I can't request this compliance letter. And I'm getting emails from the grant portal saying like, you have to get this letter in, it's only valid for so long. So I can't go in and I can't set up our HST to pay it online. I can't set up anything because I'm not a director.
And previously it was a mayor?
It was a past mayor. I don't know why it was set up like that. Just that's how it was set up in the past. And I talked to other municipalities. And even the CRA said it should be the CIO that should be, because staff members tend not to rotate as much as
Yeah.
council, so.
You do all the business.
Yeah, and we do all the business.
Yeah.
So, we have to send in the bylaw that appointed me as CAO back, in 2019. We have to send in a certified copy of that resolution. And we have to send in a letter on letterhead with all my personal information to add me. So hopefully, I can have it done before ours expires, which is in the mid-August, so. That compliance letter, so if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay.
So no questions for
No.
CEO? Okay, good one. Okay, so moved by Counselor Austin, seconded by Counselor McDonald. Whereas council has received the CAO's report of 2023-23 for information, and resolved that council directs that the following changes be made to the corporation of the township of Nairn and Hyman's CRA authorized personnel, and further that the CAO clerk treasurer Linda Ketchabah is authorized as the director and given all delegated authority to make changes and allowed access to all information for the corporation of the township of Nairn Hyman's CRA business account, and that the former individual named as director be removed from the account, and then the deputy clerk treasurer Melanie Bilodeau be added as a level 2 representative. All in favor? That's carried. Thanks for explaining that. CEO Ketchabah. This is for the next report. Does anyone have any questions to discuss the renewal of the franchise agreement between the township and Enbridge? I thought the notes were really well explained. Counselor
Of course,
Austin.
I got a question.
Okay.
Is there anywhere in this agreement that I couldn't find it that says they will supply gas to all our residents on a public street?
No, there
In the
is
area.
not, that unfortunately is not. That's
Because I
up
have
to
a
them.
resident
Yes,
that
I'm
is
aware of
asking
that.
for it. And he was told he has to pay to put it in from Minto Street in. Which seems ridiculous.
Well, I've heard that in other streets, so, you know, let's say to put it up a little street, it's a really big fee, and it's, you know, let's say there's 5 houses on that tiny street. That's who you're dividing that fee with, so it's consistent with what I've heard from other people.
Well, from what I've seen, they could run that in a half hour,
Oh, probably.
like 100 yards of gas line to a house on the public street. I can see if it's your private property, but it's the township street. It just don't make sense.
I don't know why it would be so expensive then.
They got the little dredger, they run there, and they just go down the street. and it's all
Oh, there's
sand.
no time at all.
Hmm.
Like there were 10 minutes to run up my yard, and it's 120 or 130 feet. It just don't. I had asked the resident to get a letter into town, but they seem to hold back, won't write it, they just keep questioning.
Well, years ago, in my street, McDonald Street, they stopped at my driveway. But then they added it all, it was the company that put it down that rest of the street. It wasn't the taxpayer paying.
Okay,
Was it Enbridge or Union Gas?
Would have been Union Gap.
Yeah, oh, you
Back
guess,
in
yeah,
those
okay.
days.
Yeah.
That's,
Enbridge might have changed the
Yeah,
rules.
I could see if you were, had to drill and blast and do a bunch of stuff, but to run down, just down the sand.
I don't know what we can do about it. It seems like a pretty generic agreement. It is consistent across other municipalities.
Yeah, it could be something the town could petition for to Enbridge.
I would think we should, because. As long as.
There's no harm in trying.
If it's an easy way, if they got, like I say, if they've got to go and drill and blast and stuff, that's.
Well, there's lots of nooks and crannies, I think, in this town without natural gas.
There's a few, yeah.
So we don't want to move forward with renewing the franchise agreement. We want to try to,
Would ask that they add that into it, that they would. Look at putting services into citizens that requested on a public street. Where it's accessible without extensive costs.
well, I mean, that's not defining costs.
Yeah,
So you could argue, or they could.
yeah, oh, I know that,
they're the ones that are gonna benefit by it. Who also, like,
Depending on the cost of putting it in.
well, they put it out past my place because there's 4 or 5 homes there, right?
Okay, I am concerned about the delay that this might mean, but
Yeah, it does take 8 months to get this.
well, we have 8 months
We have 8 months right
Yeah.
now.
to
So,
renew it. So if we sent a letter requesting that they do something,
okay,
Counselor Diaz.
Finally, Madam Mayor, I know that, internet companies, work the same way as that. For example, internet doesn't come to my place. I would have, they told me if I wanted, whatever, Eastlink or Bell, I would have to pay for the line from the highway down Wabakeesha, down Nagy and down Nagy Bay. So I think that's a similar scenario there. This is what companies make us do. That's why I got started.
Yeah, I'm skeptical that this will work. But, are you interested in this, Counselor McDonald as well, to see if they would potentially provide services to people, everyone within town?
Well, every taxpayer in this town deserves the right to have gas. Their house.
Well, we're talking about a private company.
they're,
They have the right to gas now. It's really about the price. Really, that's what,
they need.
if I understand.
They need our permission to run their lines on our property. That's why this is here, not to help the citizens in there. They had to get permission to run their gas lines through here. And the town had to fight at the time to get them to hook it up. They didn't even want to hook the town up. At the time, they just wanted to go right through to Espanola. They're not gonna do anything to help us unless you request it.
Okay, well, let's write up a motion.
That we request that they,
so did you want a motion and a letter? Like, to go to them, or do you want that as negotiated as part of the a franchise agreement? Cause we'd have to have a lawyer involved to negotiate that.
No, I wouldn't, I don't wanna get into big expenses here.
So do we just wanna, like, a letter of petition?
Yeah.
Just like on the sidelines?
Right, so we're not doing the franchise agreement, right?
No, this was just, council had asked any big agreements that had come to council before they need to do a resolution or a bylaw, so I'm presenting it now. We would need to pass the resolution and the first two readings of the bylaw in September. So,
So there's a chance, I don't think we'll hear back from by September.
but it would be a good time to write a letter to them now, since they are
It's the
doing a
beginning.
big project
Yeah.
through town.
Well, you might
Okay.
be onto something, Counselor
Yeah.
Austin.
Well, they're gonna be working right up the street. They don't have to move any equipment, they have it all there.
Well, my legal advisor felt that with those large companies, think of all the municipalities they're dealing
Yeah.
with, right? We may get somewhere,
We just ask politely,
yes.
that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Could I get some clarification on the wording?
Sure, so what have we got? so
I
far?
just said resolve that council directs the CAO to write a letter, to Enbridge.
To petition? To petition,
To request.
To request.
yeah, to request.
Yeah.
Keep going, Counselor Austin.
That gas services
That
be
they-
provided to all residents living on public roads?
Yeah.
Yes,
Municipality.
Yeah.
Within the-
request it.
Within the service location of the town.
The
Yeah.
Like the settlement area of the
Yeah.
town, or that you want service area?
No, the settlement
Okay.
area, not,
Yeah,
I don't want them.
Bird Street.
They're-
You don't want
see
them
what we
coming to
got.
my place.
yeah.
Or going to San Bay.
Thanks a lot.
You got-
That'd be nice if they would, but.
it wouldn't kill them to do Birch Street, like, if I understand the pipeline goes.
Well, it
on the
does,
highway.
but then they have to put a station in,
Mm,
a reducing station, and that's where the cost comes in. Here, they're just tying off of one of their lines and going. I forget what the pressure is, 1.5 pounds. Something of that thing, at the pumping station's 20 pounds or something. That's what, well, just down the street here is a reducing station. Or the service station for the town.
Where I can pretty consistently smell natural gas. That.
Well, it bleeds off there, yeah.
Yeah, you can,
You go up quite often,
yeah.
just
yeah.
outside in there and down the
Yeah.
road, you get it there at the. I don't know what that is, that's a pressure reading.
Yeah,
Set up
something,
your
but you can
expansion
smell
plant
it.
from yeah.
I think I called actually before for both of them, but.
It would have been nice if the citizen had put a letter in and we could deal with it.
Are we asking for at Enbridge's cost? Or,
Yeah, their cost on the public property. If it goes
I
up,
wouldn't say that's how they normally.
I don't think that's how they operate,
Normally,
but
like if I'm building a new house, I'm paying for the gas.
you
lines.
pay from the property line to your house,
Okay,
but from the property line where it's Township Road, that should be Enbridge.
And even now, it used to be free.
Yeah,
'Cause in
yeah, into the houses, they put it all into the houses free.
Yeah.
But if you come along now and want it, you pay from the lot line in,
so we're gonna ask at no cost.
yeah. If they were nice enough to give it at a reduced cost or something, or at their cost, not the bill, whatever.
you're you're changing it to reduced cost?
At no cost.
At no cost.
At no cost, I think that's a harder sell.
Yeah, but they,
But if you ask for more, they might give.
They
you
might
less.
come back with reduced cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's- Okay, so who would like to first this?
Because I brought it up.
Yeah, you're right.
I'll second it.
No, okay, you're not doing a lot of seconding today. Okay, so be it resolved, so first hit Counselor Austin, second Counselor Deputy. Council directs the CAO to write a letter to Enbridge to request that gas services be provided to any residents who front on a public road in Nairn settlement area who request the services at no cost. All in favor? I don't know how it seems a little crazy, but this might work.
Well, if they do it at reduced cost, we're ahead of the game.
Yeah, we are. So then we continue on with the renewal of
Yes,
franchise agreement.
yeah.
Yes,
So we are renewing
No,
even though.
At the next meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So first by Councilor McDonald, second by Councilor Austin, whereas council has received the CAO's report 2023-24 titled Renewal of Franchise Agreement between the Township and Enbridge Gas. And be it resolved that council will adopt the provided draft resolution and give the bylaw first and second reading at September council meeting. All in favor? There we go. I'm not sure if there's a motion. First by Counselor Austin, seconded by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the following reports 7D and F are accepted as presented. Fire Chief's report to council, July 12th, 2023. Municipal Superintendent's report to council, July 13th, 2023. And Aqua, June 2023 work order summary. All in favor? That's carried. I guess the one comment I wanted to make about that is, the CCAN was originally an expense of $5,000. I remember in the report, he was mentioning that he was considering that it would be no longer usable in the foreseeable future and that we needed to look at something else. I'm not making this up. No, it's in there. Yeah.
I believe that that is a budget item that should be dealt with in budget. We just did budget.
Yeah, we did. No, I just wanted to mention it.
We
It's
look
not,
Next year. I realize your storage facilities always change.
all right. So what it is that, oh, sorry, I'm just looking at the report, yeah. The next is bylaws. First by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that being a bylaw to govern the proceedings of the municipal council, the conduct of its members, and the calling of meetings be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed in open council, and its number shall be 2023-24. Why isn't this ringing a bell to me?
It's the procedural bylaw that we're
Okay,
getting ready to
So-
pass it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so all in favor?
Or if you want. Vote maybe?
So this is to actually get the
Pass it.
procedural bylaw through.
Yep.
Okay, sure, we can do a recorded vote. So this is for the procedural bylaw. Do you need me to reread the resolution again? No, all in favor? Actually, I need to ask verbally, so I am for, Counselor McVeigh is not here, so do I just put a line through?
Didn't put absent.
Counselor Austin,
Before.
for, Counselor Deputy,
Against.
Counselor McDonald. That was carried. And that's the addendum, the other business item. Should we discuss this first and we can discuss it right in open council?
We just can't use names
Or-
addresses.
Okay, so does anyone have any questions about the addendum item? We just don't wanna make it clear who exactly we're talking about.
I understand what It is, you have to accept that the tax rate is changed.
Well, it's us allowing the tax
Yeah.
rates to change.
Yes.
Counselor McDonald,
Yes.
you're fine with that? Counselor Day-Petit?
That's, we allowed the rezoning. And,
Yeah, it makes
that-
sense.
That comes with it.
All right, so moved by Counselor Austin, seconded by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the other business item of 11A. Summary of tax write-offs dated July 17, 2023 is approved. All in favor? That's carried. First by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that council move into closed session at 7:36 PM. For the purpose stated in section 239.2 of the Municipal Act, personal matters regarding an identifiable individual, advice that is subject to solicitor client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. All in favor? We're just moving to closed section. That is carried. It's always so weird that they call it in camera